let's talk about editing your novel. How much should you edit at once when it comes to your novel? Now, we've talked about this a lot on my live streams, in my shorts content, on TikTok, on Instagram, and I will always give you the same answer when it comes to editing the book that you've written. You should be editing this as closely together as possible. You should be doing this as quickly as possible. You should not take a month to edit your novel. You should not take a week to edit your novel. You should take days at most, and if you can do it all in one sitting, that is what you should do. But why? This is because you are going to mess up if you have gaps of time when you're not in this novel editing it. If you sit down and it's start to finish in one sitting, read through and edit your novel, you will know exactly what you've written and the plot holes that you've missed, any threads that you need to tie up. You see everything. You see it all. You have clear vision for this and a very clear memory of what you're doing. If, however, you break it up, even by a couple of hours, you can and will likely forget things. It will lead to less effective editing. Now, not everybody can sit there and read it all in one sitting and do it all in one time, and I get that. So you need to condense this as much as possible. If you can take a day and do the entire thing, do it. If you need 3 days to do it, do it. If you need a week to do it, do it. But do not prolong it if at all possible. If you take more time, you are more likely to miss things and make mistakes, and we don't want that for you. You have spent so much time writing this. And I say this about writing too. You should write in as much of a condensed period of time as possible. If you were writing a novel in 2 weeks, that's going to be more effective than writing a novel in 2 years because there's a lot of space, a lot of time to mess things up. So with your editing and your writing, the more condensed you can make this, the better your memory is going to be. And the more effectively you're going to be able to connect dots, add things in, take things away, change things and tweak things to make them more effective for what you are doing. So your editing needs to be done in a condensed time period. Now, with that said, if you're getting your editing notes from somebody, sometimes you are going to want to read through those notes and process it before you dive directly into it. That's okay. Take a day. That's what I do typically. If I get notes and I have to change things or tweak things or I have to think about some of the things that they said, I'll take a day. I will read them and then I'll close it. I won't look at my manuscript. I'll think about it and then I'll come back in. I'll read through them again and I'll do my editing. I go through it in one sitting. I make sure I get mine done very quickly so that I have that fresh perspective in what I'm doing. And I like to do my editing well out from where I've written it. Because when I write a book, I'm very close to it. If I take 2 weeks, if I take a month, if I take 7 months, if I take years, I now have new perspective. I have fresh eyes. I'm not attached to it. I'm not blinded by the things that I would be if I did it right after my writing. So I give it space, if at all possible, for me to write my novel and then give it off to my editor, and then I wait a little bit and I'll come back in and I'll edit so I have that fresh perspective. But I do it in a condensed time period so that I don't lose anything, I don't miss anything, I don't overlook anything, and I don't get busy and forget things or miss things or whatever it happens to be. So the more condensed you can make this, the more effective you will be. And whatever that looks like to you is fine. You don't have to do it in one sitting like I do. You can do it in the course of a couple of days, but plan that into your schedule. If you know you're getting notes back, plan time. Plan to do it on a weekend when you do not have your day job. Plan to do it over a holiday when you do not have your day job. Plan to do it when you have several nights that week that you're able to sit down and do it after your work. Plan an entire day if you are a full-time author or you run a business and you have the ability to do this. Plan an entire day or 2 days to sit there and do nothing but that with short breaks in between so that you can, get up and walk your dog or you can eat a meal or whatever it happens to be. I understand a couple minute break here and there. But the more condensed you can make it, the more effective you're going to be. So we're not wasting our time. We're not wasting our ability to come into this with a fresh perspective and clear eyes and clear thought process through this. We are making sure we're doing the best that we can, because if you don't, then you're going to have to put more work into this. Your beta readers are going to catch more things. Your editors are going to have to catch more things. They're going to have to go through more rounds of edits. You're going to have to go through more eyes, more hands, more process, and probably more money being spent to make sure that you're refining the book the way that you are supposed to. So making sure that you plan this into your schedule and you know that this is coming and you're going to work effectively to make this effective for yourself is going to work to your benefit. Whatever that happens to look like for you, and planning your schedule, changing your schedule, tweaking your schedule, working around what you have, and knowing that you're doing this, going in with that knowledge of making this as effective as possible, you can make this happen. however that looks to you. Again, I do it in one sitting. You don't have to do it in one sitting. You could take 3 or 4 days to get it done, but I want you to get it done in less than a week, because if you don't, you are much more likely to have those errors and have to pay more money, to have more people look at it, to have more people catch things, to get more notes in your reviews on the book buying platforms from people catching things that you missed. We want to make sure that we are making this most profitable that we can for you. And so doing it in as short amount of time as possible is only going to work to your benefit. Questions, go ahead and drop it down below. If you want to talk more about editing or writing or publishing, now is the time to get your questions. We're dropping daily videos to help you navigate the world of publishing, from your writing to your publishing to your marketing, to make this your most profitable, effective, and stress-free year ever. We'll see you in the upcoming episodes.